Hello everyone, and welcome along to the first game of the new season with United Scarab Khemirates. It's Season 9. We are in Division 5, and, well, slightly different format to this one. Essentially, this game was played a couple of days ago, and I did record it live, but unfortunately, the little live score ticker that we used to have across the bottom of the screen essentially broke halfway through. I didn't realise, and it meant that the entire screen was grey for pretty much the entirety of the game, so you couldn't see anything, so that wasn't great. So what we're going to do is we're going to just have a talk over the replay. Up against Necro. I'll just pause it so we can have a quick look at the team, and apologies for my lack of voice as well. World Cup's on, England have been doing well, and, you know, may have been shouting a little bit. So, yeah, this is the first of 3 Necro teams we're going to have to play this season. Probably one of the fairly nicely developed ones as well. No Claw Palm like we saw last season with Keji, but we do have a Claw Mighty Blow Wolf here. Another one with just block, and this white is a threat as well. With piling on Mighty Blow and Pro, so very similar in build to Tala Swift, who's hanging around back here. So Sliceanddice is the coach. He promoted up from the REBBL Miners League with this team. Had to kick Zombie, but we got a quick snap. That obviously just meant we could move the throw rod. So we were trying to level this throw rod if we could, or at least get a touchdown on him, so we can get him a skill at some point. Hopefully we'll roll an agility up or something like that. So obviously LOS blocks against the zombies. And the thinking here is pile on. That was rewarded with a KO. Yeah, the thinking was that because the Blitzerer was protected by all these Tomb Guardians, there was no chance of a foul coming the other way. So that was a fairly safe piling on. Made this 3 dice with the Tomb Guardian over here, which is a good job we did, because we might have turned over otherwise. So again, went for the safer option of the block blitz here. Rolled another both down, and again it'll be the same approach. Going for a fairly greedy piling on despite no armor break. Just getting a stone at that time. So then it was just about making things safe and going to pick up the ball beforehand. So yeah, pickup was good with Imho, Terry, Pratchitap. But yeah, obviously no threat from the backfield there, so finally took that hit with Billy Ray. Get another stop. So in terms of the strategy for this game, Necro, generally speaking, I find to be a pretty good matchup for Khemri. The 2 Flesh Golems, even if they were both block guard, tend to find themselves outnumbered by the 4 Tomb Guardian, especially when I've got 2 guard in there as well. So obviously took the decision to base up both of the... Oh, that was a double skull, yep, so that burned the reroll straight away. Couldn't use Pro on that one. Yeah, basing up both these Flesh Golems essentially gave me free hits if I wanted them. And yeah, it's about essentially trying to make sure that the Wolves didn't have good hits on the Tomb Guardians at any point. So obviously they're strength 3 and frenzy. That can actually be a bad thing when you hit the strength 5 thing. So if you roll that push, then you end up getting yourself into trouble. So positioning was pretty important in this one. Decided to take a free hit here, just rolled a push, and Sliceanddice opted to stand firm. So, next decision was we actually decided in the end to just hit him again with another Tomb Guardian. Again, just rolled a push, but it wasn't too big a problem. That would have been more of an issue if this was a guard Flesh Golem. But as it was, the fact that we had 2 Tomb Guardians in here meant it was very, very difficult for him to hit back. That double push was good news for us because we could have taken a hit there, but it would have involved committing too many players over that way. So we're about to see Freddy here come in to hit this skeleton. Babby O'Reilly. Now it does follow up, which, as far as I was concerned, was for an assist to the Flesh Golem hit, but actually does pile on here. Gets an injury. So 2 SPP for the white, but it does regen. Which is obviously good news for us. So that pylon very much sort of changed my approach. Because suddenly we had a very, very good value play over here. Now also this, we'll see in a second, actually gave me a shot on the wolf. So we had a player down here. I was suddenly looking to foul. I needed 1 GFI with this skeleton to get over here and foul this white. But we also had a shot at a wolf with a Mighty Blow Flesh Golem, because this set us up with a chain push. So yeah, took an assist in there to make it a 3 dice. That 3 dice found a knockdown, but we were able to push this Mighty Blow one without standing firm into here to have a go at the wolf. At this point, I wasn't actually too happy with the cage I ended up constructing on this turn. Got a little greedy. Did get a knockdown on the wolf, but didn't manage to break the armor. Yeah, Blitz came in on this white here, because obviously the Agi4 and guard was a good option, but didn't want to follow up, because we did want the assist for the foul. Took a hit there, rolled a push. Now, we actually made a mistake here on a future turn. You'll see what the problem was with that. Decision to push in there. But we caged up, and eventually we went for a 1 GFI foul on this white Freddy. With Dirty Player. And obviously, as you can see, we were massively rewarded for that. So no regen either, which meant that one of his best players was gone. It was a send-off, but in terms of trade, that was massively trading up value. So that's an 80k skeleton taking out a white that's got 4 skills and palm and tackle and all sorts. So wasn't too bothered about the send-off because we were definitely trading up in value there. So what started to happen? Now here, it shouldn't have stood firm, and you'll see what the problem is straight away. Now, had we not stood firm, we could have allowed him to push us away from this Dirty Player zombie, who was actually essentially with a 3 assist foul on my best player, or best Tomb Guardian certainly. So definitely shouldn't have either stood firm, or when we pushed him in the first place, should have pushed him away. Because that was setting up what was a really good value foul. Comes in for the 1 dice with this wolf, skulls it, and then rerolls into a skull, which does actually save us from that foul. But what you'll see start to happen in this half, firstly, this Flesh Golem is now miles out of the play. And secondly, a lot of players suddenly find themselves based up against Tomb Guardians. Necro are quite low agility, and we had a massive gaping hole which to move the ball over here as well, and an opportunity to foul this wolf that was definitely high on the agenda. So yeah, made the cage first, wanted to gain that ground while we had the chance before the Necro would come across, and this play was again designed with a chain push in mind. So we could push this zombie away, and that would give us an extra assist for the foul. Needed a reroll, but the push was good enough. So yeah, we now had 2 assists. It's about to be 3 when we knock down King under the mountain. Got a stop. Which was again useful because it just kept him out of the action for a while. And with the guard, he was a useful player. So it was 3 assists and the rookie skeleton to have a go at this wolf, which is essentially the other really good player on the team. Unfortunately though, Knuckles said no this time. So again, you can see that there's now what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players tied up actually on only 2 of my Tomb Guardians. So the amount of value that these pieces were giving me in this game was exceptional. I think given the chance again, Sliceanddice would probably not have committed so heavily to this Tomb Guardian fight. The problem he had is because we had so much guard, all of his players were just wasted. Obviously zombies are at G2, so it's a 4+ dodge out. Again, does find the knockdown. This time we didn't stand firm because we didn't want to risk that foul. So we start to see some players coming around on the cover, but at this point it's sort of too little too late. He's only got the Flesh Golem, the Ghoul and the Wolf back on the cover. And the problem with that being that I just had a free shot on either of the ones that I wanted here. The Wolf tries to blitz his way out. Rolls a push the first time. Second time round does roll the skull. And obviously with only 1 reroll left, can't afford to risk that. So the Wolf ends up down and stunned. So again, what you're going to see me do is just stand this Tomb Guardian up and just move him straight back into here to tie up all of these players. So we've still got 4 of Sliceanddice's team tied up by 2 of my team. And we opted to take the shot on the werewolf. Now Pro did the job. Found a POW. Didn't find an armor break, but decided to go greedy with the piling on again. Because of the good pitch position we had, and found a KO. So, again, positive stuff. So again, we built the cage around the wolf with the idea of fouling him on the next turn. But at this point, we really did have a significant advantage. Knocked down the Flesh Golem as well, because that meant on the next turn he really didn't have the option to make any sort of good blocks against these players. So the plays the Flesh Golem blitz around the back, excuse me. Finds the both down, which is good news for him, but incredibly, Rora isn't knocked out. Now that was a 4+ dodge with a dirty player to try and foul Tala Swift there on the floor. That failed. So again, the defensive drive had very much sort of fallen to pieces for Sliceanddice at that point. Now we took that hit first because had we have freed up the Flesh Golem, we had the option to get a fairly comfortable 2 dice on this ghoul. But instead, what I kind of figured was with this wolf on the floor, and the white all the way over here, it was safe enough to just start shifting the ball all the way forwards. Only needing a couple of players to cover, and we still had most of the team tied down. So again, following up just to keep those zombies tied down. And we also came around here with the rookie Tomb Guardian because that gave us a 1 dice with Tala Swift. Obviously we have Pro, sculled it, Pro worked, so we found a POW second time round. And again, indiscriminately piled on. And yet again, rewarded. So I think even on the live version of this, I was saying, wow, we really are being rewarded for just piling on indiscriminately against players who didn't actually break armor the first time. So that was an armor bust for the ghoul, which is obviously the end of his career. But you'll see by this point that Sliceanddice has sort of given up on stopping the score and is just trying to remove Tomb Guardians at this point. Good use of the stand firm there to keep the Tomb Guardian in place. Knocks him down and knocks him out the next turn. But in terms of inducements, which I forgot to mention at the start, sorry. I did have 2 Bloodwiser babes. We were down on TV against this team. So 2 babes meant that was almost guaranteed to come back in the second half. So again, we didn't stand firm because we didn't want to risk a zombie foul with lots of assists. Flesh Golem takes a 2 dice uphill on my Tomb Guardian. Now I thought he would have sort of not followed that, but choosing to keep the Tomb Guardian based up, which was a free Mighty Blow hit. Obviously, things are safe over here at this point because there's nothing more that Sliceanddice can do to stop the score. So for me, the decision now was whether we stand up set 7 for another risk of a hit from the werewolf. What I opted to do instead was just base up this dirty player, so that he had to dodge away with him and want to foul with that. 2 dice came in. Now we used the last team reroll here because there was pretty much nothing that could stop the score. Armor break was good news. And again, piled on. 6 skills saved the day, but the reason for piling on is because we had that skeleton to come across and try and protect him a little bit. And again, the dirty player was based up. Opted not to stand up the Tomb Guardian because we didn't want to risk another Claw Mighty Blow hit, taking him out. Goes for the 1 dice. Now again, there was an option here to make this 2. Had he just brought this white into play here. And there was no reason not to do that because the white wasn't really doing anything that turn. Another power on a throw rather didn't produce a send off. But again, we're thinking foul on the Tomb Guardian. That came in. Dirty player only stunned him, which was great news for us. So yeah, didn't have a reroll, so didn't take any more dice. Just ran it in. And to be honest, as far as first halves go, that was pretty much exactly by the book how we wanted. So now it became about whether those KOs got back up for Sliceanddice. Obviously, we expected ours to get up. It was a 1 in 36 with the 2 rolls we had. So neither came back on the first KO roll, which obviously means that suddenly he's only likely to get 1 back in the second half. Tomb Guardian does come back. So now it was just about working out whether he was likely to 1 turn. Well, he was down a wolf, which meant he was down a frenzy play. So, considering we outnumbered him and outstrengthened him, the decision was made to just load the front line with Tomb Guardians and say, right, if you want a 1 turn, you've got to do it the hard way. Come and do the strength 5. So yeah, while we're watching this, just a little bit about the division. There's obviously my Khemri team. There are 2 other Khemri teams in the division, so we're going to see 2 Khemri mirrors. There's 3 Necro teams, this being one of them. And there's also 2 Wood Elf teams. Back to square 1, who we played last season, are back in the same division as well. And there's also a Wood Elf team that's came up from the Miners, who have Strength 4, Agility 5 War Dancer, which is otherwise known as something we'd like to kill. Comes in with a Wolf Blitz. Finds the bow down. Again, doesn't do anything with that Mighty Blow. The Skeletons actually did a really good job of not being killed in this game. That was a very useful send-off as well. That got rid of the dirty player threat on that. I think it was a Snake Eyes as well. Just great news for me. So half-time 1-0, and he had a wolf knocked out and a zombie knocked out. The zombie came back and the wolf didn't, which is again, it was one of those games, or certainly one of those first halves where everything was just going my way. You know, Pro had worked every time. Piling arm when we didn't have an armor break had worked every time. So we were up 11 versus 8 for the second half. Obviously, my regen had worked on the skeleton. The dirty player was sent off, but he'd been sent off taking out a high-value piece, so that was fine. So yeah. The only thing we had to make sure of now is that we weren't... we didn't leave ourselves exposed, over-committing towards the ball. So what I actually thought Sliceanddice might have done here was just, on the front line, keep 2 zombies to one side and the Agi4 white in the middle. And just keep all of his team to one side and maybe try to build a cage around this way to maybe 2-turn with a wolf. Committing to this fight here while he was down so many players was just never anything he was going to win. So an extra reroll for him. But it was always going to be tough playing Necro, because Necro do kind of struggle, even though he's got this dodge wolf. They struggle to do the agility stuff, being Agi 3 and Agi 2 for the most part. So again, had a 1 dice here, thanks to his guard cancelling out my guard. So that idea of keeping the Agi4 white there so he can dodge away ended up costing the free reroll. Gould picks up the ball. So what we spotted here was a chance with 1 GFI to actually hit the wolf with tackle and Mighty Blow and Panning on. Getting rid of that wolf felt like the last major threat in terms of conceding the touchdown. Just with the movement 8, it would be difficult for me to keep up with him. So we kept a couple of players on safety duty just in case, because obviously there was no way he could score the next turn. And it was very much just about manoeuvring the troops. We managed to knock down this flesh golem, which allowed me to tie up this other one with the Tomb Guardian rather than a skeleton. Also made a gap which allowed me to push this throw-raw through, just to pressure the ball, which kind of meant that Sliceanddice needed to make a play on the next turn, or the ball was under threat. So obviously when you're up numbers like this, it was just about applying the pressure. Went for the hit, rolled a 1 on the GFI, as we often do, re-rolled it, rolled another 1. So that was obviously the first turnover we'd pretty much suffered in the whole game. Opportunity lost, but not the end of the world. We were still in a pretty good defensive position, really. So what we'll see is we're going to see the wolf dodge out and aim for the throw ra. Knocks him down. Stuns him as well. And then does opt to dodge out and potentially become a bit of a scoring threat. You've also got the white who's now in scoring range, and the play that Sliceanddice goes for with 2 GFIs is to hand off to the white, who promptly rolls another 1. Remember, he's actually 4. So that's now 2 rerolls gone. Trying to find 2 pluses on the Agi4 player. So, having taken this block to get a mark on the ball, there was 3 real options as I saw it. You kind of had the option to just 1 dice with the skeleton here. That wasn't great because we needed a 5+. You had an option for the 4+ dodge with the blitz ra. But again, that's only a 75% chance, and you likely enough to need to use the reroll to get through there, which would mean you wouldn't have the reroll for the hit. Or as you'll see, the play we went for in the end was to actually try and get this Tomb Guardian onto here and see if we can knock over the flesh golem with the skeleton. We did find a casual POW on the werewolf, which was very useful. So yeah, that push there was good enough because it got the guard into play. Now, if this skeleton could knock down the flesh golem, then it would free up this Tomb Guardian. Went for a sacrificial throw-ra with dodge on the flesh golem there. Now, he did find the knockdown. So what this left us with, really, was 2 options on this play. You could either make 2 GFIs to hit with the Tomb Guardian, or you bring the Tomb Guardian in on 1 GFI, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you go with the skeleton, which thanks to the guard would mean you got a 2 dice anyway, but you don't need a second GFI. So in terms of dice, it was actually better to move the Tomb Guardian in first and then just go with the skeleton, because neither player has block. So you're essentially rolling the same thing. Thankfully that GFI worked. Skeleton came in. Found a POW at the first time of asking. And to be honest, it scattered the ghoul, he dropped it, it scattered here. And by this point it was pretty much game, barring some sort of miracle. All of the good players were on the floor. The ball was in 2 of my tackle zones, and one of them was a strength 5 Tomb Guardian. And we were up numbers as well. And it's not like you're playing elves. So he went for the 2 dice uphill, re-rolled it, got the push. So we're basically just looking at scattering the ball here. That's now 3 re-rolls gone in 3 turns. Ball scatters to the Flesh Golem, who does actually catch it. The problem with that being that he'd already moved or taken an action, so he couldn't get him away. Now, he left his 3 best players essentially up here, which didn't protect the ball at all, and pretty much gave me a free shot with Taylor Swift to try and take him down. So we just took some of the no dice actions first. We put one of the Tomb Guardians in here just to tie up the wolf and the ghoul. Brought a skeleton round to assist. This is a throw raw on the ball. Taylor Swift doesn't get the job done. Pros it, and pro works yet again. Ball goes down. Didn't need a pylon. And as long as either throw raw can make the pickup, we were pretty much done. That push gave me the option to use either. What we decided to do in the end is just move this one out of range, because we didn't want that Flesh Golem to take a block here, follow up, and then tie up that throw raw. As it happened, Imho Terry Pratchett have made both the pickup and the GFI without needing a reroll. So, as I say, it was one of those games where everything was just going exactly to plan. So the white manages to dodge away. Now what that does give him is the option to take a Flesh Golem blitz here to put a stand firm player on the ball. I did like that play. It gave me something to think about. And 1 dice found stun on the skeleton as well. 2 dice uphill worked too, which was a little frustrating, but not the end of the world because there was no armor rate. And then the ghoul 1 in 9s to dodge out, but doesn't break the armor. That's him sort of out of play at this point, really. So found a push there, or double push. Now this gives us the option to surf this white if we wanted to, because we have the spare blitzer out here. Skeleton managed to find a POW on the Flesh Golem. I have to say as well, we did manage to knock down Flesh Golems an awful lot. So now it's just a case of moving the ball forward and just screening off from any silly plays. That knockdown meant that zombie was out of things. This zombie here needed 2 GFIs just to mark the ball. So all we had to do was screen off the Flesh Golem from making a 4+ dodge play. That double skull meant we had to re-roll. But we still wanted to take the surf option. Unfortunately though, Nuffle said no. Double both down, so the white survived. But at this point, yeah, there was very, very little that Sliceanddice could do, so again just focused on trying to take out one of the Tomb Guardians. So that POW allowed him to make the option to bring this player around. Went for the blitz. Found the knockdown, and indeed another stun, which allowed the Flesh Golem to mark up this throw raw with a GFI. And then comes across with 2 GFIs to try to mark the ball. Fails the second one, so his last reroll time, decides he has to take it. And makes it the second attempt. And the wolf goes frenzying. Does find the knockdown second time around. But But again, Claw Mighty Blow fails to break Tomb Guardian. So at this point, we had a few options for what we wanted to do to get rid of that zombie. I was thinking a long time about taking a dodge out with this throw ra to blitz away. But what we actually decided in the end was that the best option was to actually blitz this flesh golem. Because we could then just use this throw ra as an assist and actually just block with the ball carrier. There was no risk of us scoring at the moment, and if we failed, had this dodge failed for the blitz, or the blitz had failed, or whatever, Pro again working, by the way, and produced a positive result. But there was the option for him to knock down this rookie thrower, and the ball might have scattered at the crowd, come up this way, and that would have left us in a really bad position. As it happens, we found a POW. Managed to leave the zombie tied up against the thrower. And again, it was just about making sure the Necro were tied down at this point. So another early dodge fail, 1 in 9, so there was no tackle around there. And that time the ghoul did injure itself. And from that point, the game was all but done. That's an MNG, which meant both ghouls were actually either retired or missing the next game. So very rough game for Sliceanddice. See, at this point, there was actually now nothing that could stop the score. That zombie was out of range of actually blitzing the ball. Decided to take the glory hit on the white to try and take him out, but again, didn't manage to roll better than a both down, so he survived. And again, just rolled a push, so we couldn't actually get the white, which was mildly irritating, but all things considered, we couldn't complain with the dice we got. So again, that was just about making life difficult for the zombie who could base the ball. Although realistically, marking him there made no difference in dice at all. Wolf dodged out for a 1-dice blitz. Found a POW. So obviously that's our brand new strength 4 blitz roll that we got from the Devastational, so thankfully he didn't die. And yeah, it was just about Sliceanddice trying to find SPP and skeletons at this point. The armor and the removals, though, were holding up very well for me. Of course, not totally miscounted. That player couldn't actually reach the ball. So what we decided to do was blitz this only one who could reach the ball. Knocked him down. And injured him as well. So 2 SPP for Tala Swift. It did regen, so the niggle didn't stick. But that's now 72 out of 76 SPP Blitzerer. Which is otherwise known as in very healthy condition at the moment. So again, just looking for SPP on Tomb Guardians. None was particularly forthcoming. And that move was just to try and protect my best player, in case he tried a silly zombie 1-dice blitz. Two dice on the skeleton doesn't do anything that time. What you're about to see is the wolf come in to have a go at the Tomb Guardian here. Again, an attempt at a glory kill. And it very nearly was. That was both a dead and an agi bust. Thankfully, regen kicked in again, so we didn't lose that Tomb Guardian. That was a moment that gave me a very minor heart attack, as you might imagine. So we decided to take a greed blitz with Taylor Swift. Found a knockdown on corpse number 4. And again, indiscriminately piled on. Good. And indiscriminately got another knockout. So yeah, all that was left to do was run the ball in with the thrower out. That was the last turn of the game. 2-0 win to start the season, and to be honest, it was actually quite comfortable in the end. The dice were very much in my favour. Pro didn't fail at any point. The only turnover I suffered was that double GFI and the send-off. But of course the send-off was massively rewarded with an injury that didn't regen. And the failed GFI wasn't really the end of the world. So, good win to start the season. The MVP went to Ran Boma, which is quite a nice place to have it, though we would like it on Tomb Guardians, all things considered. MVP went at that duel, but he's the one who's MNG rather than the one who's armor busted, so it was at least slightly better than it went on to him. And it does leave us top of the league. So, a positive start. Long way to go, of course, another 12 weeks of action. But, you know, you take the results when you get them. We did roll a level up on the throw rock because he scored twice. But he just rolled a normal, so he now has block. So we've got 1 block and 1 dodge throw rock. The team's not looking too bad. We're at 1540, which is sort of mid-range for the division, really. Maybe slightly on the low. There's a lot of teams around the 1500 to 1650 sort of mark. So it's quite a close run thing. Next week is the Crusaders of Calador, who are a fairly nuts high elf team. We've not played high elves before with the Khemri. And this lot, I've got 4 Agi 5 players. So we've got an Agi 5 blitzer, Agi 5 catcher with dodge, another Agi 5 catcher, and an Agi 5 thrower as well. So this one's going to be a challenge. Taylor Swift is 2 casualties away from leveling again. Elves would theoretically be a nice juicy set of targets for us. Teams to watch this season, I would say, in the division are probably Hoods, Clawtimore Rams. Hood plays, it's no Chaos Warriors, it's a Minotaur and all Beastmen, but he plays it very, very well. Does have an Agi 5 Beast in Scarligor Forktongue here. And a Claw Mighty Blow Minotaur to boot. So that thing's going to be a serious threat to the Tomb Guardians when we come up against that. Also, Bash Buddies and Berserk is a good coach as well. Watch out for that Necro team. And of course, we've got a few teams with admin weeks. There is a bye week too. So we get the bye week in week 13. So final week of the season. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. But we'll see. It depends if we're in the playoff hunt or not. But yeah, that's it for week 1. Apologies it wasn't live. I don't know whether the replay cast was actually better or worse, just in terms of being short of time. Also, apologies for my voice being a bit croaky. As I said, it is World Cup fever over here in the UK, or certainly in England. So, suffering a little bit from that. I was going to say it might be better next week, but if we win today against Sweden, and then were to win on Wednesday in the semi-final, then the voice could be even worse. Who knows? But yeah, thanks for watching. We'll be back next week when we're up against the High Elves. And it looks like we'll be getting some inducements as well. So, should be a good one. Looking forward to it. Catch you next time.